Hi everybody, welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampa Melandi, and I'm really excited to be here for my very first Facebook Live of 2023. Now, I'm so excited to bring you today the kickoff of my Valentine's Day crafting series. So for the next month, I'll be creating Valentine's Day projects with all brand new supplies from the January to April mini catalog, which debuts this coming Thursday. There are so many great new supplies coming that I cannot wait to show you via classes, events, and right here on Makers Monday each week. Now let me make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're joining me from. It's fun to see where everybody joins in each week. If you're watching via live over on YouTube, make sure to do the same thing. It's fun to see where everybody joins in on YouTube. And if you're catching the replay here on either YouTube or Facebook, make sure to comment replay as well. So hello Don, hello Carol, must be meaning that I'm live here on Facebook. Let me just bring this up so I can see all your comments. Now I got a new stand for my iPad and my phone for Christmas, so it may just look like a little different for Makers Monday from here on out. Before I had my stand on a tabletop holder, so you would see the tabletop holder in all my videos. Now I have a C-clamp that clamps to the back of my desk, but it's kind of elevated things a little bit more. So instead of looking straight ahead, I do have to look up just a little bit. So like I said, this is my first time using it since I got it for Christmas. This is the first time for Facebook Live since then. So just kind of bear with me as I get my bearings straight with this new display, and I'm gonna have to adjust it here after a little bit because it's not quite exactly where I want it. All right, today, like I mentioned, I'll be kicking off my Valentine's Day crafting series. For the first week here, I'll be featuring projects from the brand new Country Bouquet bundle from that new mini catalog. So let's go ahead and jump in. I've got a bunch of things to go over before we start our projects. So let's go ahead and get started for the new year. Can move that out of the way here. So look, we have actually no stand in the way, so this is perfect. I'm really excited here. Hi Penny, hi Holly, hi Rose, thank you for joining. All right, first up this week debuts the January to April mini catalog. Now this starts on January 5th, and the projects and supplies that I'll be using here today do not debut until Thursday the 5th. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. While I can't show you the inside of the catalog, if you had placed an order with me in the past 6 months, or you attended a class or an event, your mini catalog is already on its way. I sent those out last week. And if you are not currently working with a demonstrator and you do want a copy, in the link in the description of this video, you can request your own free catalog. So that debuts this coming Thursday. Super excited. There's some really great stuff in there. Also debuting Thursday is Celebration. So what exactly is Celebration? It is Stampin' Up's largest promotion that we host each year. It runs this Thursday through the end of February. And the items in this little specific brochure, again, I can't show you until it debuts on Thursday, but the items in this brochure are exclusive to this event and can only be earned with a qualifying purchase. Now, very cute. There's stamp sets. There are exclusive designer series paper. There's items that do coordinate with the mini catalog. So they do kind of work hand in hand for the beginning of the mini catalog. Now, one thing I can show you, and we're gonna use it today, is if you are thinking about joining Stampin' Up, Celebration is the best time to do that. You get the best bang for your buck during Celebration. So this year, the join special for Celebration I have it with me. I'm super excited. We're going to use it today. Is the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in a new exclusive color. This is called Boho Blue, and it is one of the new 2023-2025 in colors that will debut in our annual catalog in May. So this is an exclusive just for brand new demonstrators that join during Celebration. How Celebration joining works. You can choose either the mini Boho Blue machine or the white mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, your choice of whichever color you want. You get to choose whichever color plus I have a little flyer here because I just want to make sure I tell you the right thing. It is the machine plus your choice of $175 worth of Stampin' Up! Products, any products for $129. If you do not want the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and you already have one, you can choose $175 worth of your choice of products for $99. So joining the Stampin' Blondie team during Celebration is the best time to do it. You are not required to hold classes, host events, do Facebook Lives, or sell to your friends and family. You can simply be a happy shopper and get your items at a discount. So if you have questions about joining the Stampin' Blondie team, I would be happy to answer anything for you. But I love our team. We have demonstrators across the United States, and we have events both in person here in Tucson and virtually for those that don't live close. All right, next up I have Winter Stampin' Bingo. This debuted this past weekend is when I put that out. I only have 3 seats left for the Tucson in-person event. If you are local and you're wanting to attend the in-person event, I suggest you grab that seat ASAP because my in-person event always sells out each time for Stampin' Bingo. So there was a typo on the previous flyer that I put out. I did put out an apology post about that. In-person Stampin' Bingo is Saturday, January 28th, not the 21st, the 28th. I have a prior commitment on the 21st already. Online, Sunday, January 22nd. Now, online is via Zoom, so if you have a computer, you can play Stampin' Bingo with me no matter where you live in the United States. We will be doing make and take projects featuring the new Love Cats stamp set. So this is the stamp set that we'll be using. These are super cute little guys, and again, a stamp set I love because it has images and sentiments together in one. So we will be doing some loved theme treat packaging and also cards, and you can add this on to your registration if you like, or you can substitute with whatever you have in your craft supply if you're doing the virtual option. RSVP registration closes Monday, a week from today, January 9th. And if you'd like to register, there is a link in the description of this video that you can sign up for Stampin' Bingo. Only 3 seats left in Tucson. If you are wanting to attend, grab those because they will sell out. I promise you they will sell out. All right, next up, I have posted on my website, stampinblondie.com, under the classes and events tab at the top, my calendar of events, January to April 2023. On here, I have everything from my Club Craft and Create for the next 4 months, what we will be doing, when the winter Stampin' Bingo and spring Stampin' Bingo will be, virtual BOGO, as well as my winter creative retreat co-hosted by Butter Dish Designs. So all of the details, you can print this off right from my website, and on the back, I have every single Makers Monday mapped out from here till the end of April. So if you're wanting to know what I'm going to be doing each week for Makers Monday, you can check on here and see exactly what I'll be doing for my weekly class to goes. Speaking of Club Craft and Create, my January Club Craft and Create is open for registration. Deadline is this coming Sunday, January 8th. We are featuring the stamp set that I'm going to be using here today for my project, so you can create additional Country Bouquet bundle stamp projects. So this is the stamp set that we're featuring today for Makers Monday, but also for my Club Craft and Create. It is a punch bundle, so you have a coordinating punch to go with it, images and sentiments. Now for this class, it's going to be just a little bit different because we're going to be creating treat packages as well as cards. So normally it's 8 cards, and I don't think everybody needs 8 Valentine's Day cards. So we're going to be creating 4 cards, 2 each of 2 different designs, and then 2 treat boxes to go with your class kit. So here are the 2 cards that we'll be making for this month's kit. One of the treat packages here. Now this does kind of like pop up and fold out, but I just left it more flat for displaying purposes. And then this is actually a fun little box with a belly band, and then it has some candy on the inside. So Club Craft and Create, you receive $25 worth of product to use, and we do not use nearly all of it. So you can create additional projects after. It is held virtually or in person here in Tucson on January 17th and 18th. All the details on my website, stampandblondie.com, for how to register and what Club Craft and Create pertains to. All right. Last but not least, I know it's kind of a lot, but it's the first one that I've had, first Makers Monday I've had in a while, so I've got a lot of stuff to go over. But last thing before we jump into our projects. Each week I do something called Prize Patrol, and 2 weeks ago, the Prize Patrol prize was the Awesome Otters stamp set. Now, if you aren't familiar with what Prize Patrol is, all you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into Prize Patrol. That's it. Very, very simple. You'll want to make sure to comment that you shared, because sometimes your Facebook security settings don't always let me know who has shared and who's not. So Awesome Otters was our prize from 2 weeks ago before I took my holiday break. And Pam Simmons is our Awesome Otters stamp set Prize Patrol winner. Pam, I do have your address, so I will go ahead and put this in the mail to you. But congratulations to Pam. She is our Prize Patrol winner from 2 weeks ago. Now this week's Prize Patrol, these are the flowers adhesive backed trinkets. Now underneath this, I don't want to open it, but underneath this there are silver trinket flowers as well. So you get gold and silver in here. They have adhesive on the back, so these are flat for perfect for adding to your projects so that you can mail them as well. So flowers adhesive backed trinkets are our Prize Patrol for this week. Comment that you shared and share the video, and you're entered in to win this week's Prize Patrol. That's it. Quick and simple. All right, let's go ahead and rearrange some things here, and we will get started with our Makers Monday projects. Now, my first bundle from the January through April mini catalog, like I mentioned, Country Bouquet. I chose this one because it is a punch bundle, and it has an entire suite to go with it. Now, I'm going to be using some of the items from the suite today, but not everything from the suite. So I won't be using the ribbon because I'll be using the ribbon on other projects later. And then everything else I'll be using though. So in this suite, we have the Country Floral Lane 12 by 12 designer series paper. What I like about this designer series paper is that it's not just your traditional reds and pinks for Valentine's Day. Now, Stampin' Up! Has pulled through Balmy Blue, Mint Macaron, and Mossy Metal, as well as Petal Pink and Sweet Sorbet, to kind of create a all-in-one Valentine's Day paper. So I really like this one. My favorite 2 papers are these down here, the red and white hearts, and then these little bicycles. I love the little bicycles. But this paper right here, we're going to use on one of our projects today, and it coordinates with the punch. So you can punch out all 4 images at the exact same time, and you don't even have to stamp anything. So Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper, 12 by 12. And then here are the 3 projects that we're going to work on today. It goes that way. Now, these 3 projects are part of my Country Bouquet weekly class to go. So if you place an order between today and the end of Friday at midnight Arizona time, $35 of your choice of whatever products, and I will send you the make and take kit for this week's projects. If you place an order of $50 or more, I will send you the embellishment of the week, which are the pastel adhesive backed sequins, which I'll be using on all 3 projects here today. Now, my suggestion is if you are wanting to get this week's kit, hold off until Thursday to place your order, because if you're wanting to add the Country Bouquet stamp set or the bundle, you can't place that order until Thursday, because that's when those items debut. So you can choose any products that you want, but if you're wanting to make my exact products, hold off until Thursday, and then you can add these items to your class kit order. Now, you'll want to use the host code that's at the bottom of my screen here to place that order, and then you'll get the make and take projects. Now, each week on my website, stampandblondie.com, I have the list of all the items that I'm using on my 3 projects here today. Now, this is free. It has all of the item names, numbers, prices, and the dimensions of the 3 projects that we're creating here today. So there is a backside. Now, all the items this week that are highlighted in yellow are debuting on Thursday. So just to let you know, those are the new items. So we have the backside here, so don't forget to print that out. But that is free on my website, stampandblondie.com, and you can choose that to print out. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Here is our first project that we're gonna work on today, featuring Balmy Blue, a color I don't tend to use too often, but I wanted to pull that through for the projects here today. And we're gonna use that little bicycle designer series paper. All right, let's get some of this out of the way so I can get started. We're gonna use these adhesive back sequins, so I'll put those there. And there we go. All right, for this project here, I'm gonna use a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5. Again, all those dimensions are on that PDF, so you don't have to write anything down. You can just print it off and follow along and make your own Makers Monday projects. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our piece of petal pink cardstock, and we're just going to adhere this down to our card base. And we're gonna offset it more towards the left-hand side because our big die cut circle is gonna cover up the right side of our project. So we're just gonna put that off to the left. Now here's a piece of that really cute designer series paper. On the back, you do have Balmy Blue stripes, but I really think this bicycle designer series paper is really cute. Now this can be used not only for Valentine's Day, but if you are going to, say, a baby shower and they haven't revealed the gender of the baby just yet, this can be, you know, you have blues and pinks and greens. So this paper is actually good for baby cards as well. And we're just gonna place that right over our petal pink cardstock off to the left-hand side. Now I have already pre-die cut my basic white cardstock here, but if I hadn't, I could have used my new boho blue mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But we are gonna do some stamping, and now that I don't have my my pole for my camera, I can grab my ink pads much better, so I'm super excited about that. All right, we've got Balmy Blue and Petal Pink. And we're gonna use this stamp here. It's a 2-step stamper stamp. Say that fast 3 times. So we're gonna stamp first. I like to do more of the heavier background part first. So we're gonna stamp this floral image here. Oh, sorry, opposite. I like to do the skinnier and then fill in with the darker one. So we're gonna do the skinnier one first in Balmy Blue, and then we'll do the floral image in Petal Pink. So let me get the right stamp here. Now these stamps, they don't fit exactly straight on a D block. So I just kind of turned it into a diamond and it'll fit perfectly on there. All right, so we're gonna ink up and then stamp right in the middle of our die cut. Now this heart is not symmetrical on both sides. So when I was stamping it, you can see it kind of indents a little bit there, but on this side it's more straight. So it is not a perfect heart. So if you're stamping it and you're saying, oh man, this looks a little off center, it's actually the right way. And then we're gonna come in with our floral part of the stamp, and we're going to ink up with Petal Pink. And I may go off screen a little bit here. I just want to make sure everything's lined up in this. There we go. So you'll just kind of line it up in between those first stamped section, and then you just ink up with our Petal Pink. This we're going to adhere with Stampin' Dimensionals. Love me some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm just going to add that right on there. And that will go on the right side of our card. So right there. All right, our sentiment. So we have a piece of balmy blue cardstock, and we're just going to use our Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This one says Happy Valentine's Day. So we're gonna stamp that in here. But again, if you were gonna go to say a baby shower, you could substitute a different stamp in here for like with love or for you. That would work as well. It's kind of a multi-use stamp. And you're just gonna stamp it right in the middle to say Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, from there, we're gonna trim the edges of this at an angle. Just take the edge there and trim. And then on the back here, because our circle is already popped up on one side, we don't want to add dimensionals to the back of this, because then one side would be 2 levels of dimensionals and one would only be 1. So we're going to take 1 dimensional on the left side, and then the other side we're going to add liquid glue. So then it is all 1 level of popped up across the paper. So just like that. Courtney says dimensionals always take cards to the next level. No pun intended. You know what? I think there is a pun there, and I love it. I love punny sentiments. So that's great. All right, I have our Petal Pink. This is called the polyester ribbon. It's more of like a suede feeling ribbon, but I took about 8 inches of that, and we're gonna tie this into a bow, and this is gonna go right on our card. And with this, I like to use mini glue dots. I found that this ribbon, because of its texture, can, I don't know, like soak up liquid glue and not really take it very well. So with mini glue dots, I don't have to wait for anything to dry, and then I can just add that right to my card. So a glue dot, and it's gonna go right below our sentiment, and you can kind of like add more glue dots behind there. But we're gonna use the pastel adhesive back sequins. These are the free embellishment with a $50 order this week. Now these come in 2 different sizes. You have large sequins and smaller sequins, and we're gonna use 3 of the large ones, and we're gonna put 1 down there, and then 2 up here in the left corner. And that is our first project, featuring the Country Bouquet bundle from the January to April mini catalog. A very fun and easy, simple layout to be able to recreate. Like I said, this is a perfect baby shower card as well. You just kind of swap out the sentiment, and you can still leave the heart and the designer series paper. And this is the perfect kind of multi-use project. So I hope you guys liked that one. That was very fun to use. And like I mentioned, I don't really use balmy blue that much, but it's a really good color for non-traditional Valentine's Day projects. All right, next up is, I had to do like a pinkish card, of course. So we have a Sweet Sorbet card here, and then also Petal Pink and crumb cake. So let's go ahead and grab our pieces here. In your kit this week, you'll receive a piece of sweet sorbet cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, and a piece of that designer series paper. Aren't these hearts just so cute? On the back side, you do have that mossy meadow, mint macaron, and pink, petal pink, but we're gonna use just this petal pink side here. And we're gonna glue this right to the left side of our project. So that'll go right there in the middle. Now a piece of crumb cake cardstock, we're gonna kind of create our own pattern paper here. So let me grab I've got a scratch piece of paper here, but we're gonna create our own pattern paper with one of the stamps. So we have this open heart here, and we're gonna use crumb cake ink, so tone on tone stamping. And we're just gonna create our own pattern background. So I'm just gonna ink up and start in the upper left corner and work my way across the card here. And then in the middle of those two, I'll just create my next heart and work off of that. I like creating my own pattern paper because it coordinates with whatever project I'm working on, and it's just fun to kind of switch it up just a little bit. So very fun and easy to do with this big heart stamp, but quick and easy, and you can just create your own background paper. All right, let's move our scrap paper off to the side. And then that is gonna get adhered right down to our card base, overlapping that designer series paper. So that'll go right there. So you have that kind of peekaboo of the hearts from the background here, and then your own designer series paper. Now I have a piece of basic white cardstock that I pre-cut with the layering circles dies, and we're gonna stamp our own heart here. Now this stamp is actually a dual stamp. So it is connected in between with this little heart. Now some demonstrators cut their stamps up, but to me, I can't cut my stamps. It's just like, oh, it hurts my soul. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to ink up my stamp, but I'm gonna do it kind of in an upside down way here. So we're just gonna stamp that upside down. So I just got the heart portion there, and we're just gonna stamp that right there. So you just wanna be careful not to get too far down on the stamp because you don't want to ink up that little stamp. Now, if stamping your, or cutting your stamps doesn't bother you, you can always cut yours. But to me, it's like, oh, I can't cut my stamps. I just can't do it. All right, so we're gonna put that off the side. Now I had a piece of, it's down here, petal pink paper. There we go. Petal pink paper, and we're gonna punch this little heart out. So here's the punch. And what I'm gonna do is I don't wanna cut a bunch. So I'm just gonna cut a strip off here because the heart is at the bottom of the punch. So we're just gonna thread in a small strip of paper and punch out our heart. And clean these little pieces up. There we go. Now this little heart, again, just like that big one that we stamped, it's not even on both sides. So again, this kind of like curves on the inside, and then this side is straight. So whichever way you want to put the heart down, it doesn't matter. It's just know that it's not supposed to be a straight, perfect heart on here. Right, so a little bit of liquid glue, and that's just gonna go right there on the project. All right, now we're gonna add our circle right onto our card base with our liquid glue, and that'll go there. Our sentiment, this one says with love, so we're gonna add our tuxedo black ink to this. Again, you could swap out, now I may go off camera, this little piece of cardstock is kind of small, and this stamp is really small too, so I just want to make sure I get right in the middle. There we go. you could swap out any sentiment with this one, the Happy Valentine's Day. It really works with the variety of the sentiments here. And we're gonna go just cut the edges. This time we're gonna go straight, not cut at an angle. And there we go. And that will just go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Courtney says, when the stamps line up with a punch, it would seem silly to cut the stamps apart. Yes, because if you try to line that up and you cut your stamps, you'll never get that lined up again. So I leave mine together. I can never cut mine apart. Some people just have no thing and they just cut it all apart. I just can't do it. I can't. All right, is our sentiment. Now I have a roll of linen thread. This is such a good versatile ribbon that you can use for basically every single project. So I'm gonna cut 2 pieces about 8 inches long. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here, but I'm gonna take 2 pieces, and I found that because you can see they're all curly, it's kind of hard to get them to tie when they're like that. So if you just hold the thread in between your thumb, fingernail, and your finger here and just drag it down, it'll help straighten that out and it'll be much easier to tie. All right, so we're gonna tie these 2. This is probably too much thread, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. It's really hard to tie it when you don't have enough. All right, and then you can take the ends and hold them together and just pull at the same time, and you'll get your loops to be even together. All right, there we go. And then pull tight. Then I like to take all 4 tails, and then you can cut them at the same time. And because this is so thin, we are gonna use mini glue dots with these. And our take your pick tool, we're just gonna ball that up and get it off our finger. And that will go right onto our thread, and it's gonna go here in the lower left corner. Now, as an embellishment, we're gonna use our adhesive sequins. We're gonna use the smaller size. Now, this is more of just, it's not white, it's just kind of like iridescent. It has like a purple shine to it, a pink shine and shimmer, so it doesn't really have a specific color, I don't think, to it. It's just, if you would imagine iridescent, that's what I would say it would be. That won't stick to me. There we go. So we're gonna add again 2 up here in the upper right, and then 1. Normally I use the spatula end, but I just used it for the glue dots. But there's our second card with the Country Bouquet punch. So we use the punch here and the stamps, so we're kind of slowly bringing in that punch, but it is a fun and easy project to be able to create some Valentine's Day cards. Now, you may not think Valentine's Day you may think it's far away, but it's really a month and a half away, so it'll come up quick, very, very quick. All right, our last project, this is my favorite this week. Here is our last project. Mint, macaron, and petal pink together are definitely one of my favorite color combinations. And then we are going to add in some of these punches to be able to add a little bit to our project. Now, this project today is actually an easel card, 4 1/4 by 11, and we do have an inside. So it says, just wanted to say on the outside, I love that we are friends. And I can't wait to send that to my friend that I know is watching, so she knows who she is. All right, mint macaron cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11 to create that easel card. We are going to first take, the stamp has this little like floral image right here, and we're going to stamp that with mint macaron ink. So again, tone on tone stamping. So we're going to stamp once in the upper right and once in the lower left. Quick and simple, and it just make sure the background isn't too plain. When I was designing this card, I thought it needed something in the background just to kind of bring in a little bit. So just a simple stamp there, and it makes it look really pretty without overdoing it on the stamps. Okay, we have a piece of basic white cardstock and then 3 pieces of designer series paper, and these are all different dimensions. So these pieces of cardstock, the dimensions are on that free PDF here, so I'm not going to go over those, but we have a large, a medium, and a small piece. So they're going to go right here in the middle, and then that. So before I even glue anything down, I just kind of like to line up my designer series paper, make sure that my spacing is even and that I'm not gluing anything down and then it doesn't work. So we're going to take our first piece of designer series paper and add liquid glue. I highly suggest using liquid glue for this part, because if your card or your designer series paper is not where you want it, you have a few minutes to kind of shift and shimmy your paper around and get it right where you want it. All right, now we're going to skip the middle piece and we're going to go right to this other side, and we're going to add our liquid glue here. Same thing on this side. Make sure we're evenly spaced. And then you're going to go in and do the middle. So once you do the outsides, you know exactly where your middle piece is going to go. Right, there we go. And that'll go right down the center there. Again, you can kind of shift and shimmy your paper right where you need it. All right, this is going to go down with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So we're going to put that there. Thank you, Courtney. She said my cards are great. I appreciate that. I work really hard on these. So I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you like them. Okay, that's going to go right there. Here we go. All these little dimensional pieces, and that'll go right in the middle of our card base there. Now I pre-cut with the Stylish Shapes dies. These are found in our annual catalog. This is, here's what they look like. They come, this is the second to largest square here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that designer series paper and we're gonna cut out with our punch. You can see everything lines up. It's the exact same shape. So this card, you may not be able to see this. I'm just trying to line it up here to make sure everything's straight first. So you can see everything fits perfectly, and then you can punch and you have all 4 pieces cut out, and you don't even have to fussy cut all of these hearts. So very, very simple to be able to punch, and I love punches. You don't have to do a ton of work with them. All right, we're gonna assemble our heart here. So we have these 2 little leaves, this punched out heart and this bigger heart. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of liquid glue to the stem of this first piece, and then we're gonna adhere that to the back. And then if I can pick it up, our last stem, same thing, a little bit of liquid glue, and then just angle it on the back side of that heart. And you can just kind of hold it in place for a second and it'll adhere there. You can put a clear block on top to hold it down if you work on another part. All right, now we're gonna flip over and add our glue to the entire back side. And then place that right in the middle there. So we have our glued down heart. Now this little heart, same thing. A little bit of glue. So you're just building with little pieces. It's very quick and simple, but you're just building with all these little pieces here. And now you're going to glue this down to your card base. So like I said, just a bunch of pieces and you're gluing. So no matter what skill level you are, anybody can glue. Anybody can use liquid glue. All right, and that'll go right down here of the card. All right, for our sentiment, our first part, the front sentiment, we have a piece of petal pink cardstock, and the sentiment says, "Just wanted to say." So our tuxedo black memento, make sure we're stamping the right way. There we go. And while that's open, I have our piece of basic white cardstock that's going to go on the inside. And this one says, I love that we are friends. So this is just going to go right at the top there for that sentiment. Okay, we can move all of these out of the way. Now with our petal pink, just like the last one, we're not going to trim at an angle. This one we're just going to trim straight. There we go. Now I wanted you to see this. Look, I don't know. I was cleaning up my craft room and I noticed that there is a little heart embellishment on my scissors, and I'm just going to leave it. I wasn't going to take it off. I thought that is so fitting for Valentine's Day, so I'm just going to leave that little heart. That's the heart pearl embellishment, so I thought that was fun. All right, on the back of that, we're gonna add dimensionals again. Very easy to adhere those. And that'll go right over that stitched square there. Now I'm lining up the edge of my sentiment to the edge of that white piece of cardstock. There we go. And it would help if I put it on straight. There we go. Now the inside, we're going to take our sentiment for the inside, add our glue, and that'll just go right there on the inside. And you have plenty of space to write whatever you'd like. Normally I don't add white to the inside of mine, and I would just stamp that right on the mint, but I wanted that little sentiment to kind of pop against the green, so added some white. As a final touch, we're going to use the, did I use the small or the large? The small gold sequence. So we used the blue, the pink, and the gold on all of our projects here today. And like I mentioned, if you do choose the embellishment with your order, look at how many adhesive sequins you have left. Like, we barely even made a dent in these. So you have plenty left to be able to work with. And then we're just gonna add 2 little gold ones in the upper left corner just to give a little bit of shine. And that is our third project today, featuring the Country Bouquet punch bundle.